So we're here in Clovis, California. We're getting ready to install a new toilet for the homeowner. We have a leak down below coming through the ceiling, and we believe it's here. You can see the moisture in the back. I shine a light on it, maybe you can see it's pooled around back in here. Maybe the light doesn't help, but anyways, there's been some work done here before. You can see how this is pulled up pretty high. There is an original ABS plastic closet flange down there, and through over torquing, they've bent this portion up. So probably both sides are like that. They came in with this ring. It's a repair ring, and it's pretty thick, pretty substantial, maybe an 1/8 to 3/16 thick, and I believe they mounted it in there to try and help contain this flange from pulling back up at the points where the bolts are at right now. So they've mounted this. They've used some pretty small screws and angled them out. I don't like tiny screws in here. With stainless steel or brass, stainless steel is stronger and rated for moisture, but we like to use number 12 or number 14 screws and get it anchored into something that's dry. Unfortunately, down below the subfloor is saturated, and so we let the homeowner know the quick fix is wax ring, mount the toilet back, and then when they go to do their floors, address this issue by opening up the sheetrock down below, which is damaged anyways. Get some additional blocking down below in the space between the two floors, up between the ceiling joists. They're probably silent floors down there. Get some blocking up against the floor. Additionally, you can put a vertical block between the horizontal sewer line, which serves this toilet, up to the floor, which helps for any movement up and down. So blocking vertically, and then blocking up against the bottom of the existing plywood flooring for new mounting structure, so you can get some new screws in there. These here, you know, if you could take some nice long 3-inch lags and take it down into some new blocking down there, you won't have any problems with movement in this flange. So that becomes a big project. They don't want to address it today because it does. You know, it takes some time, it takes some money, and they're going to have to take this all back apart anyways and do the floors, so there's really no point in doing it right now. So we're going to go ahead and get that toilet set, take another video when we're done. Outside of that, this portion of the video is done. So we're still here in Clovis, California, just finished installing this toilet here. Don't remember the brand, it's an off-brand. The homeowner provided it. I take a look at the box when I go in there, but it's no brand that I've ever heard of. You know, they got Glacier Bay out of Home Depot, Aquasource out of Lowe's. Of course, the name brands, you know, American Standard, Kohler, Delta, you know, none of those. So I'm not sure who makes it. It's a dual flush. It seems like a good enough toilet. The trouble we went into this installation, in the first part of this video, we showed you the floor. There's been excessive water that's been dripping down and caused a hole, or at least staining in the sheetrock below in the kitchen area. And we pulled the toilet, there was a lot of water around the back, and you can see the footprint of the old toilet because it was bigger than this one. So at the back there you can see the stain back there, that's where all the water was sitting. I believe you have two floors in here. One is the subfloor, which is probably 3/4 inch plywood, I would imagine tongue and groove. On top of that, I believe you've got some particle board. Sometimes they put it in when they're doing lino, just to get you a smooth surface in here. It seems like there's two floor surfaces in there, just based on what we saw when we had the toilet off and we were inspecting the flange. There's a wax ring or a ABS closet flange that was damaged, and then a new repair flange on top of that. You can see that in the first part of the video. I do not believe it's fastened correctly. The front bolt, which is in this area, you've got two bolts. One sits about here, and the other one sits here. They had these old rusted bolts in there. You're supposed to use brass, stainless steel. They call for brass, even though it's a soft metal. It's supposed to be brass because it's water resistant. Stainless steel is as well, so, and they're stronger, but that's not stainless steel. It's just zinc coated. So this pulled straight out. So there's no bolt right here. That one we put in a 2.5 inch, a 3-inch brass bolt. It's a number 14. That's about a number 8 right there. So number 14 is pretty big. I don't have any out, but I showed the homeowner. And that's required to fasten. Over this side, we put two bolts in there. This fastened down really good and solid. This side, it just kept tightening. It tells me the flange is moving. Something's going on in there. Additionally, once we had it bolted down, you could pick up on the toilet. So from the front right here, if you grab onto the bowl and pick up, it moves backwards. And no matter how much we pivot it against these bolts, even though they're tightened to the floor, it will pivot further and further backwards. So we've got shims across the back, 3 shims in the back, full shims, but it's the floor is compressed back there. Let me see if I can get you a light. And it's hard to tell, honestly, with even lighting what's going on, but the floor has been compressed. It's indented. Let's see if we can get in here. So it's so moist down there that it's just rocking back and forth. I won't show you the movement back there, but anyways, it picks up and down. So we did across the front, we got about 5 different shims in here. One in the front's a full shim, not even any cutting or trimming. You can still pick up on this toilet, and I'm not going to do it because it'll break the seal of the caulking that I just put in, but you can pick up on it, and I showed this to the homeowner. Our recommendation is come in, they're going to put floors in 6 months, 8 months down the road, maybe a year. Hopefully this lasts that long. This is the worst floor that I've seen in the last 6 years. One other was pretty bad. I recommend that you come in and you cut the subfloor and any other flooring. If there's particle board down there, remove it. If there's plywood down there, remove it. Cut it to within, 1.5 inches of the wall. Or if you can find some structural members out here, great. But any soft wood, any waterlogged wood that you've got down there, please remove it. If you can, once you get this flooring up, if you can find a silent floor, which is either traveling this way or this way, and you can cut that out and replace it and get it fastened well enough to where the footprint of this toilet, which means all the way back here to all the way in the front, I want just brand new wood out here. You want it sitting on flat surface. So that'll be a general contractor or a framing contractor, whatever your choice is. Give me a holler if you need someone to take care of that. You'll be able to see once you open the sheetrock down below the damage that you have there. I wouldn't recommend any more repairs to the flange. Cut the whole thing out. The soil line, which is 3 inch coming through the floor, certainly you'll have to leave that, but cut both flanges out. The ABS flange that is glued on, and then the little red repair ring, the flange that was bolted on at some point, take it all out. Get a nice clean hole cut through nice clean wood, whatever you've got. Don't use any particle board in here. Stay with solid plywood. It's a good anchoring tool. Use the right bolts, at least number 12 to, we like number 14s. They fit great. Use a solid ABS flange bolted right to the top of the finished wood structure before tile goes in. Get it mounted correctly, and then put your tile in, and you won't have trouble with the toilet. I don't have any experience with these toilets, so I don't know if there's a problem, with it rocking specifically with the toilet, but I do know that floor back there is saturated. So I'd even be willing to say, can you get to a place like, no, that plumber didn't do a good job, and you feel like, you'd like to get a refund for this installation, just give us a holler, and we'll come out, but also give us the courtesy of coming out and showing us the exposed floor before you put flooring in. Once you yank this toilet, have us come out and take a look. If that floor is so saturated, and that's the cause of the movement, then obviously this is all we could do. If it's dry as a bone, and you feel like, nah, that guy was wrong, whatever. Of course, this is going to dry up over a period of time, but I just feel like you've got a damaged floor that needs to be replaced. But if you feel like, no, he just didn't do a good job, give us a holler. We'll refund you money. It's $175. That's not going to hurt me one bit. We do excellent work in the field, and we try and keep you informed along the way of what's happening outside of just the fixture, what's happening structurally. And that's what we, outside of, opening it up right now, we can't confirm that. From underneath, you'll be able to see it. But once you get this flooring out, and don't have them tile over it, have them take this whole thing out of here. Especially if you want to refund the installation, you got to show us the floor, because we know it's damaged down there, and that's one good indication right there. Rusted bolt, they don't rust by themselves. Okay, that pulled right out of the hole. So, which means structurally, this was screwed into wood, and it pulled out by hand. Anyways, that's our spiel, and we always like to leave our customers satisfied, but in this case, there's no way to do that. We can't leave you with an installation that is up to par. It is what it is, unfortunately. So, anyways, we'll document this and send you a link to the video. Hopefully, this will last you until you remodel up here. Be gentle with it. Just come in and use it as it's supposed to be used. Don't bump it around too much. It's supported as far as downward movement, which means when you sit It's not going to push down any further because we've got substantial shims around here. We did put a lot of caulking in there just to fill it up and keep, and honestly, it's just to keep the shims in place. It's not for support, but it's just to keep those shims, we squirted in there real good and then pulled it back out. So it's going to help keep those shims in place so that you have support on downward motion only. Okay, so don't slam the seat up against the tank. Just be real nice with this guy until you're ready to go. And then text me if you need any contact info for general contractors, subcontractors, whatever, and I'll be glad to send information along the way. Outside of that, this installation is done.